endorse this event or product.
This is the Bob and Jeff Show, starring Bob Lutz.
Now, there's where Jeff and Duda failed to rise to the occasion. I'm going to say this again. This show should be called Bob Knows.
Jeff Lutz.
If he sent his clips to another station trying to get a job, they'd say no. And they'd say, what about that other guy? He sounds funny and much younger.
Hey, listen. There's a phone call for you.
And Jason Duda. For today, anyway.
I hope so, because he's going to be talking to one idiot right here.
I know what you mean.
97.5 and 1240 KFH.
You rockers ready to roll?
We're back. Hour number 2.
This probably doesn't happen to you very often because you were very much into your adult years when social media came out. But like when I go on Facebook and it rewinds like 12 years or 15 years and I was in my mid-20s, I couldn't have hated myself more now than. You know what I'm saying? It's just, and now when I listen to some of these promos, I'm like, this is not good. So,
Well,
from a while ago.
I don't know. Every promo I hear of me is exquisite. Good job, Max.
That's how you limit yourself from ever growing or getting better, so that makes a lot of sense too.
Dudes, do you see
That
Jeff
doesn't make any
growing and
sense.
getting better?
Jeff growing and getting better?
All the time.
Yes, absolutely.
No doubt.
I
Thank
mean,
you.
there wasn't much. The floor was pretty low, so it's easy to get a little better,
Thank you.
right?
Well, I appreciate
So I
that.
hadn't done a whole lot of looking into the life and times of Kalen DeBoer, the new coach at Alabama. Man, you talk about a meteoric rise. This guy made a big mark coaching NAIA football at the University of Sioux Falls, 67-3 during his time there.
That's not bad.
No, that's pretty good, but that's NAIA.
Yes, sir.
He was coaching NAIA. Let's see here. As
Apparently-
recently as 2009. Now he's the head coach
Well,
at
that's
Alabama.
15 years. That's not, I mean, yeah, I get it, but
He
you
went
would think,
to he coached head coach at Fresno State, and then he took over Washington, where he's been 25-3 in his 2 years. Offensive-minded coach. Saban was more in the defensive mode. This guy's never coached in a place south of Carbondale,
yeah, that's
Illinois.
why I don't like it. I mean, I'm not saying it's not going to work, but to go from the West Coast, the very extreme, like left upper corner of the United States, into the SEC in Alabama, man, that seems like that would take quite a learning curve. And if he can coach, he can coach, but it's more than that. It's recruiting. It's
Well, in today's world, it's managing the transfer portal. Why do you think this hire was made the same week that Nick Saban was
because you got to keep
retired?
everybody, and you got to make sure
Right.
guys don't leave.
I wasn't really asking that for an answer.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll
That
leave.
question was stated in the form of a statement.
Then. Well,
It was a very good answer, though.
ask another statement,
Well, it was a good answer, but could it have been any more obvious?
or say another question.
Say another question.
Anyway,
You guys are so
Alabama.
confusing sometimes.
Adam Rittenberg on ESPN gives that hire an A-.
All right.
But who's really who?
You
Doesn't
have-
matter who goes there.
But that's
It's-
the same. It's the same reason. Are you asking how you can give it an A- 2 hours in?
Well, that yeah. How do you do
It's
that?
the same. It's the same concept. It's like everything has to be immediate. Alabama has to fill the gig immediately. Media has to react immediately. Media has to evaluate immediately. That's the world we're in. It's the same. It's the exact same concept.
I don't like it.
Well, we've always evaluated.
Not
That's
immediately.
part of the fun of sports. Sure.
I hate that. I don't like that. I don't like.
So when a trade happens, you don't immediately evaluate it as a Guardians fan?
I immediately evaluate it based on that player's past performance. Now I can immediately evaluate Kalen DeBoer's past performance.
No, you evaluate it
but-
based on how you feel about it.
Well, that's dumb for the media to do.
No,
I don't care
but
about your feelings.
The media is not. I'm talking about you. You said Well, I bet whatever you said was idiotic.
I'm talking about from a media standpoint. Oh, A-. You have no idea. He could fall flat on his face, go 3-9, and get fired.
But Adam Rittenberg follows college football
Understood.
for a living. So I'm more inclined to care about his opinion than just some guy.
But he doesn't know. He's just taking a
nobody
stab at it.
knows.
So why, a grade is final. When they sent me home my mini A's and B's and A-minuses, they weren't like, well, we'll reevaluate this in 3 years and see how it went. So if you're giving a guy a grade when he hasn't even stepped foot in Tuscaloosa, I've got a little bit of a problem with that.
Yeah, but are they giving him a grade on how he's going to perform or just on
They're grading the hire.
Okay.
They're grading the hire.
That's kind of what
Adam
I thought.
Rittenberg points out
So
all the potential problems.
So he's grading the coach. That's all he's doing. He's an A- coach.
No, he's grading the hire. Is this a good fit? Does this have a chance to work? Did Alabama do its homework? Did they get the right guy for Alabama?
And he can tell
Adam
that.
Rittenberg, who knows a hell of a lot more
And he
about
knows
college
that
football
48
than you
hours
do.
after Nick Saban retired.
You know what? I'm going to get Adam Rittenberg. Here's what I need to do.
Get him.
Because Jeff just rips into everybody. If Adam Rittenberg was on this show in the next segment, here's what had happened. Mr. Rittenberg, congratulations on writing for ESPN. We really value your work. You've done a fantastic job. What do you think of Alabama?
I don't think you know what an interview is now. This is commentary that I'm giving right now. If Adam Rittenberg is kind enough to come on our show, I may express some level of disagreement, but he's the guest. It's not my show anymore. It's his turn to talk. So I'm not going to be confronting people. I'm just giving an opinion now. And he'll give his
Whose opinion do you want to hear more, Adam Rittenberg or Jeff Lutz?
On the hiring?
On the hiring of
I'm not giving an
Kalen
opinion on the
DeBoer.
hiring of Kalen DeBoer. I'm giving an opinion on someone giving an opinion.
Whose
on the
opinion
hire.
on anything related to college football do you want to hear more? Jeff Lutz or Adam Rittenberg?
Well, probably Adams.
Really?
Well,
Mine are far more entertaining.
Well,
A-. My work's done.
Why do you go
It
into
might
these
be-
voices every time
might
Dude
be
is
more
on?
entertaining. I will give you that.
Thank you.
But knowledge-wise, I'm going to take the guy that does it for a living. That's just common sense.
Fine.
Fine it is.
Your funeral.
My funeral for what?
I don't know. Good takes? I don't know.
Well, I mean, you got to be better than this.
I'm just
When we talk about this hire, of course I want to see what the quote unquote experts think about it. It doesn't mean that I then just completely buy
So why
into
do I need a grade though? Why can't that
because we all relate to grades.
Why can't that all just be explained in words?
I'll tell you what I do. I always look at these stories. Now they're designed to get clicks, but I enjoy seeing how they're graded. We're an American society that has been graded, so we can relate to it. They gave that an A-. Well, you can't relate to that.
I can't. I got A pluses, so it is a little different.
People
I
with
can't.
the
I'm okay
intelligence
with
of Duda and me, we get A's.
Intelligence of. Wait, you said Duda after intelligence?
Yes,
Yeah,
he
I
did.
want him on my side on this
Yep.
particular
Well,
debate.
he's been on your side all day. You guys have just been coming at me for no real reason.
Because you're saying
I think
ridiculous
it's,
things.
I think it's a lot of bitterness.
You're having a horrible show.
I think it's a lot of bitterness that you guys had to drive out east while I handled it maturely. I came on the air. I was smooth as silk. And Duda, I'll go get my coffee
There's
first
the voice again.
before I come in.
There's the voice again.
You guys were in the middle of a conversation.
Right.
So
I need
went,
my coffee.
Got
I
my
didn't have a
stuff figured
problem
out.
with you going to get your coffee.
I was gone for another
Yes, you did.
14 seconds.
I'll
You
come
guys-
in. I'll come in first, but then I need my coffee, and then I'll come back. Just
Yeah.
Max.
that's not
I've
how
never-
we handle anything.
Max,
I've never
well,
asked
every
this
time-
of you before,
Every
but
time I come in here, do I not get a coffee?
Yes, you're always at the ice.
Things
Thank you.
change when the show has already started. When you walk in,
Yeah, but I thought you said you could handle it.
I
So
can.
then what are you worried
but
about
I
if I'm
saw
not
your
here?
true colors.
again, I go back to this. Max, I've never asked you to do this, but if it's possible, can you get someone to escort Jeff out of here? Because we've
Yeah,
reached
you don't
the
need
end.
an escort. I'll
We've
gladly.
reached the end of your effectiveness.
We have.
Yes.
Fool alert.
Thank goodness.
I can't believe Max didn't play that.
Max
been
is
playing
on.
it all
Max
day.
is on board. Max
I
gets
only
what
want
I'm
him to
talking
play
about.
Fool Alert when he's in disagreement with the fool who's talking.
Yeah, Max, whose opinion would you rather hear? Adam Rittenberg or some guy who just said he was going to sniff cocaine? Yeah, that's a good one.
Fool Alert, Fool Alert. I mean, you couldn't be any worse.
What else you got?
Well, I don't know what I got.
I'll set him up. I'll knock him down.
Good player.
What a guy.
Good player.
Yes, thank you.
So good.
So, Duda, we know you love the NFL.
Yeah.
Will you be in front of a television for all 6 of these games this weekend?
There's a pretty good chance, yes.
Even going into Monday, that's going
What
to be
about
you.
soccer
Well, Monday night would be
obligations?
perfect. Just tonight, so I'm good. I'm good.
What about family?
We're actually having the brother and sister-in-law over. We're making dinner and watching the Chiefs game tomorrow night.
Where's soccer being played tonight?
Indoor.
Okay, thank goodness.
Yeah, well, yeah. If it was outdoor, I mean,
Well,
I'd
I'd
just
love
have
to go, but it's at 8:30.
I'd have to just kick them out and say, "Hey, I'll pick you up when you're done."
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
I'd love to go, but it's at 8:30. That's just not going to happen. And we
I
talked
know.
about this, and there's other games, but they start at 7:15 in the morning. I mean, it's ridiculous.
It is. Go Monday. Don't do the show. Come at 2:00 in the afternoon on Monday. Should be a doozy.
We got Ken Pomeroy on the show Monday.
Oh,
so
well,
I want
then
to be
you-
here.
Oh,
Yeah.
Ken Palm.
I want to be here for Ken Pomeroy.
Absolutely, you do.
I like talking to him. The Ken Pom rankings.
Which football game are you most intrigued by
Cleveland,
this weekend?
Houston.
Really?
That's the first game of the weekend.
The first one.
Yes.
Saturday afternoon.
I'm excited about that one, too. I don't know who I'm going to pull for.
Second would be the Chiefs, just because of the weather. And I think that's a good matchup. And I want to see if the Chiefs have anything in their tank. Because I'm not sure they do.
Yeah, but I don't know if they need that much. Miami can't beat anybody that's any good.
Yeah, but they couldn't beat anybody that's any good in regular football conditions. This is almost historic, the level of cold that it'll be.
Fourth coldest on record, according to the forecast and the people who
Like,
follow
I don't
that.
get it. This is why when I talk about athletes and I don't think they feel the pressure. To go out in this weather and perform professionally, I think you have to be on a completely different mental plane. I don't know how a regular human being would do it. It's virtually impossible. And yet you'll see Travis Kelce out there with no sleeves. You'll just see these guys are superhuman in some way.
All right, let's make a bet. He'll wear sleeves tomorrow.
I don't think he will.
No, I don't think he will either.
He will.
I'm with Jeff on this.
He wants to inherit that Taylor Swift money.
So
You
he's
d-
going to wear a shirt?
Yeah, he's trying to
What
be
does
more.
that have to
that
do with
mean?
anything?
He's trying not to die.
Oh, well,
I have to die. No, it's gonna.
You know what?
It's gonna turn into a run game, and that's where
why
I
don't
think.
Why don't you go out and walk around your block tomorrow in
Okay.
your shorts
All right.
and without a hoodie, a T-shirt.
Okay.
I want somebody to drive along with you and videotape it.
can I?
Sure.
Tomorrow. Let's get a
6:30
time.
p.m.
6:30 p.m. right before the
game.
Chiefs kick off.
Let's do it at like 5 because I'm going to be eating around 6:30.
All right, 5 o'clock.
We're going to
Okay.
be eating around because I'll 5 o'clock.
yeah.
What?
that's
Now
right,
let
Jeff-
me ask
Jeff's
you this
coming over.
question. We'll get back to football in a minute. We're inviting my brother and sister-in-law over. What are we? I mean, what
Your
are we
father, son.
in your life?
Why don't you guys get
What
together?
are we to you?
Why don't you guys get together?
I think we are.
Oh, are you?
We are after this show.
You invited
I
me.
wouldn't have you with.
Okay, then I won't come. That's great.
Not after you. Not after all the voices. Please,
There've not been really voices.
please try to not do voices, and we'll get
I have
along just fine.
I have a voice.
Let's hear it.
It's idiot voice. Well, I'll go do it. That's just that's just idiot guy. That's all that is.
doesn't make any sense.
Not an endearing voice.
I'm also looking forward to the Rams at Detroit Sunday night. I think that has the potential to be a very interesting and good game. Green Bay at Dallas. I think Dallas will romp them.
So do I.
But I could be wrong because Jeff hates the reason I think Dallas will romp them.
I don't like that.
I don't think Jordan Love, as good as I think he is now and is going to be, there'll come a time when he can go on the road and win a game like this. I don't think he's quite there yet.
No, I agree with you. I don't think he's there either.
And I think it takes maturation and development to be in a position where you can do that.
But it's one game. What if he's just
exactly.
amazing? What if he's just amazing?
He could be.
So
But
I can't say anything definitive after one game. If he loses, I can't say, well, he wasn't ready. And if he wins, I can't say, well, he's the second
we can.
coming.
That's why we're on another level.
But you can't.
What you do in that regard is you admit you're not playing on the same plane.
No, I admit that I
as
have
people like Duda and me who can talk NFL
I have
extremely
a
intelligent. Well, let me finish.
greater perspective.
Let me finish. Who can talk NFL very intelligently and don't go to the corner
That's what
and weep.
That's what I let you finish for that?
I mean, we have opinions based on experience.
I get it based on experience. So do I. That's why my opinions are this. I mean, it's the same. It's from my experience. My experience is obviously just different from yours. I see the world differently, apparently, which is
for
fine.
instance, C.J. Stroud, if he was going to Cleveland, I'd say that's a problem. I don't think I don't know that he's
from
ready.
Ohio. I mean, he played in Ohio.
I don't know that he's ready to do that, to go on the road and win a playoff game in the NFL. At home, I completely think he's capable of winning that game. The Texans can beat Cleveland tomorrow night. Home and road is a huge thing.
Is Tua ready to win a playoff
Who?
game? Tua ready to win a playoff game on the road.
In Kansas City?
Let's just say his team's healthy. He's got his weapons.
I can't even speak to that game because of the weather. Anything could happen.
Okay, then
The
pretend like
weather's
he's
the biggest
pretend
wild
like he's
card.
playing at Atlanta or something. I know they
Sure,
wouldn't in the
Tua's
playoffs.
ready. He's got. Yeah.
But just pretend the conditions are normal. Is he a guy who you think is at that
Depends
level?
on who they play.
But is he at that level?
Depends on who they play.
See, that's not an opinion.
Of course he's at that level.
Okay, thank you.
I don't think that.
So what does it take to get to that level? He's not had a bunch of playoff success.
No, but he's got enough experience now, in my opinion.
I say Jordan Love has a lot of experience. I know it's not a lot of playing experience, but he was behind Aaron Rodgers, who's a pretty darn good quarterback, and watched him prepare.
I'm tired of trying to convince you. As long as I can get a 2-1 vote, I'm happy.
I know, and I'm always going to be the one. I get it.
That's not true. But when you're wrong, you're wrong.
I'm not wrong.
There's absolutely no reason why he couldn't go out and have a good game.
Right.
I just don't think that Green Bay is as good as Dallas.
That's probably true. But
And the fact that
I don't know
Dallas
that it's
is
that
at
far
home.
off.
Dallas at home, they're 8-0 at home, haven't lost. They're going to put up 35 points against that Green Bay defense.
I think Green Bay is about
Now,
to be really good, though, with
If
all
Matt,
these
in a
young
couple
receivers.
years,
if Matt
I agree.
Stafford was going into Dallas,
Different story.
I think he's capable of doing it. I
It's a
think
Yeah,
different-
he's won a Super Bowl.
It's
Yeah.
and that's what I'm saying. It's a
if
totally
Jer-
different story.
if Jared Goff was going into Dallas, Detroit should have won that game against Dallas
Yep.
a few weeks ago. But that was in Detroit, wasn't it?
No, that was
no,
in
that
Dallas.
was in Dallas. So he's kind of, I just don't.
He's been to a
I
Super
think
Bowl.
Dallas,
He's fine.
I think Dallas will win that game handily.
And that's why I think Dallas wins that game.
Yeah, get.
Well, that's
All
you
right.
guys just.
why is it just because it's that opinion? Like that
No.
just makes sense, Jeff.
It doesn't make that much
Why
sense.
doesn't it make sense?
Because
You
it's
got-
one game.
Exactly.
All right, we
it's
need to
one.
take a break.
It's one game. And has this kid ever been in this one game before? He's played one season, and he's going on the road to one of the better teams in the league. Parsons is going to be all over him.
You know what I feel comfortable about? That I know more than Jeff about sports. That's the one thing I feel comfortable
know.
about.
I'm very comfortable with the opposite.
There's no question about that.
I agree.
All right, when we come back, we'll talk with Joanna Chadwick from Vype Magazine. She will join us. We'll talk some high school basketball, of which I know more than Jeff. So we look forward to the next segment with Joanna Chadwick.
We sure do. Why not?
This is the Bob and Jeff Show on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Joanna Chadwick with us from Vype Magazine. Joanna, welcome. How are you?
I don't know. I only heard the very beginning, and I thought, oh my God, he's introducing me as legendary. What is wrong with Bob?
Well, we don't want to even
the
get into
legendary
that.
Joanna Chadwick joins us. What, Jeff?
We don't want to get into what's wrong with Bob, but if you're just talking about today, that's a long list.
Yeah,
too.
we don't have that much time, Joanna.
So,
I understand.
So I've been curious about your opinion of the trial shot clock next year in Kansas high school basketball. We're going to introduce it. You can do it if you want to, but you don't have to. And we're not going to use it in the postseason. Make this make sense to me, because, frankly, it doesn't.
Bob Lutz, we live in Kansas. You know things move slowly. Honestly, I have to admit, I'm shocked that you aren't seeing the benefit of this. Let me just spell this out like this. If we can get them to buy into at least a trial run, then there's the hope that it could actually be pulled in for everybody in the future. Kansas moves so slow in everything that we do, but even getting this to happen is a huge step. Now, maybe it only happens in Class 6A and 5A. I think the smaller schools have overwhelmingly said we don't want it. And frankly, when you have an entire voting area that is going to be every single school, and the vast majority of schools who have the same vote as a large school, the vast majority of schools are smaller. And so if they only do it in Class 6A and 5A, that would be awesome. Because I think that 6A, 5A schools want the shot clock. I think it is an excellent thing. I think it'll definitely speed up games, make them a little bit more exciting. Will there be some issues? Of course there will. It's a growing pain thing. I'm just stunned that this was put into effect before the ARC. I thought the ARC would be in by now.
What's the ARC?
What they have in college basketball.
You're going to need to go deeper.
The rim.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You know what's on the floor
I get
where
you.
you can't take a charge
arc.
right under the
Oh,
basket.
yeah. Okay. I thought you were
Yeah.
talking about like the 3-point arc. I'm like, I think they have that, Joey.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Jeff.
So, yeah, you talk about there will be problems. I don't want to necessarily fixate on that, but you have to find people who will run the shot clock, right? That's just not something you show up the day of and know how to do and figure out. Is that a challenge?
So here's my thing. I mean, do we really think that these high schools only bring in people on the day of who have never done the scorebook or the clock before?
But the
for a
clock is
varsity
different
game?
from the shot clock, because that deals with possession
No,
and
and I agree, but do you realize that this was the same sort of conversation we heard when they're like, we want to bring in the libero in volleyball. Oh, my God, now we have to have somebody who tracks the libero. Well, guess what? People can learn and advance and expand things. If we have the ability to do these things, why not try it?
I got one more little question on this. From reading it, it says you can decide to do it or not do it. Does that mean each school gets to decide if they want to have a shot clock, or is it going to be the league that has to get together and decide, hey, we're using it or we're not?
I think it's the school that's going to decide, and maybe the leagues will say, hey, we really don't want to have it go for, be different from one to the next. And I would get that, but I think primarily it'll be the schools. You look at the City League, and they, Jay Means was a visionary, and when they fixed all the gyms up, I wrote a story on this after all the gyms were in place, and I asked them, Why do we have a shot clock there? Well, we have a shot clock in case we ever go to it. So, but once you lock in and say we're doing it, you have to run it all season. You can't just do it for your game against, it can't just be Southeast doing it against Bishop Carroll because Bishop Carroll might slow the ball, slow their offense down. It has to be done against every team that you play.
Well, we're talking with Joanna Chadwick from Vype Magazine. This is the kind of debate that if we'd held it in the newsroom and the sports department 20 years ago, it would last all afternoon. But we gotta cut it short because I do want to ask you about some games on the schedule tonight. There's a couple that stood out to me. Northwest going over to play Capon. Northwest certainly was shellacked in its opener by Heights, but has won 6 games in a row
seven.
since then. Seven.
I'm just updating.
My
Good
personal
grief.
editor corrects me.
You're welcome.
So can Northwest go over to Capon and make that a competitive game?
Well, I don't see why it can't be competitive. Will they win? I don't think so. But they do have a lot of weapons. Eli Benning is so fast and so good with the ball. Tayshawn Williams, Jerome Henderson, they have a lot of very good players at Northwest. And I think that Capon needs to be able to take them very seriously. But I think that Capon just has so many weapons more than what Northwest has that I think that they'll win that game. But, yeah, this has got to be one of the better City League games that we've seen this year.
And then the second game I did want to ask you about, and Jeff and Duda may have others, but May South and Campus, that's a good boys game tonight.
I absolutely agree. I think that May South is definitely they are such a good team. I'm not sure they have a weak point on that team. They've got players that are star quality. They have every position that you could want. I love their chemistry. I mean, those dudes, they seem to like each other. They have fun out there. Campus, though, Kaysen Thomas and Angelo Burton cause problems for a lot of teams. Now, I haven't seen them play yet this year. Derby's game with them was postponed due to weather. But I think that they can score a ton of points just between the two of them. But can anybody else score against May South? That is going to be the issue, because you could give up 40 to 50 points just from Kaysen and Andrell. But who else is going to step up, and will that be enough to be able to beat May South?
So I wanted to ask you about the Heights girls, because they're undefeated. They had a win over Carroll, I think, this week, if not late last week. We were talking about, Southeast, South. Obviously, Carroll's always there in the City League side for the girls. So is it just Kip Pulliam coming back, and now Heights is going to be the best team in the state? Is that their ceiling under him over the next couple of years?
Dude, they have so much talent on that team. They have so many players. They're so good. Kip is a great coach, and kids want to play for him. I don't know, why not? I mean, they're going to be they're definitely going to be the team to beat. I mean, they're just loaded.
What happened? I was asking. I can't remember who I was talking to about this, but they canceled the games last Friday, last Tuesday. Are they going to reschedule all those games? How does that work?
Well, I mean, like, for instance, when it comes to Derby, we have we'll be playing Monday at Newton. So Martin Luther King Day, we don't have school, but we'll be playing that night. And then campus, for instance, this is where our boys team has the tough thing for Derby, is that campus game was postponed to the 22nd. So Derby boys will go the 15th, and they'll play midseason tournament, and then they'll come back and play the 22nd at campus, 23rd at Hutchinson. And then it's girls tournament the rest of the week.
That's a back-to-back.
Really
my goodness.
Yeah,
that's a tough
and
stretch.
they're at McPherson, which is always an excellent tournament. So that's a really rough patch for them. It'll say a lot about this team that, you never know what's going to happen in that. A lot of good could come out of that. It could be a struggle too for any team.
Joanna Chadwick with us, our final moments. We had Kurt and Clint Kinnaman on the show together the other day. And,
wow, I bet that was fun.
Yeah, that was fun. That was a good segment. And later that night, it got me to thinking, man, Kurt's been at McPherson a long, long time, 29 years. Mike Henson was there for 12. Jay Frazier was there for 25. They've had 3 coaches
Wow,
in 67 years at McPherson.
that's crazy.
Isn't that something?
That's
And-
amazing.
And then I was thinking, well, what other schools are like that? And if you go to Heights, Goose Dowdy and Joe Hour,
Yeah.
they've been there more than 40 years.
Yep.
That kind of coaching longevity in the high school ranks just doesn't happen that often, and it's no coincidence, in my opinion, that McPherson and Heights are 2 of the best programs in the state.
I think so. And, I think it says a lot about their ability as coaches. And I think it also says something about the community saying, look, we know that you're going to have a year, a season come through where it's not as good. I mean, that's going to happen because Kurt hasn't won a state title every single year. Even in the years, and I'm not just talking about running up against Miege. I'm just talking about he's had some years where they've been down, maybe not as down as some teams go through. But it's having the community back them and understand, okay, we're still building here. Now, the girls' side, I mean, their numbers aren't the same, but boy, I mean, Strathman's been there forever, and then why can't I remember the guy right before him? They've had a lot of coaches who stuck around for quite a few years too.
All right, good stuff. Good games on tap tonight. Boy, not good weather, but good games. So, Joanna, thank you.
Bye, guys. Thanks a lot.
Joanna Chadwick, Vype Magazine. Yeah, I'd be tempted to go over and watch Capon, but I don't want to get frostbite.
It's 0 degrees.
I mean, you're in your car for most of the drive. Then you're in the gym.
Well, you're in your car for all of the drive.
It's,
and then
no, I get out and walk some of it. Let Debbie drive.
Holds on to the bumper.
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
Nothing. It sounds fun.
I saw Wish You Were Here, and you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I get it.
Everybody understands.
Yeah.
Like, I hope
I
that's
don't-
not about Jeff. So, yeah, I get it.
I don't think it was directed at you.
No, but eventually
Not at all.
it was.
Wish You Were There was.
Where?
Anyway,
Here.
Anywhere?
It was there. Before it was here, it was there.
That's right.
And then we went everywhere. It's easy. Just follow it.
so now, and we love seeing Max. I mean, I wish the studio was 5 minutes from my house instead of 25. That extra 20 makes a big difference. You know what I'm saying? You know.
I know.
It's even farther from your house.
And even farther
And
to
it-
Jeff's.
Yeah. It's
crazy.
4 hours from where Jeff lives.
yeah, basically.
No, sir, it would take you how long? 40 minutes to get?
No, it's 30 probably.
No way. It's 20 to get to my house.
Yeah, but I just get on Kellogg.
Just
and,
go.
Well, how many times do you get on Kellogg, which I would never do?
Well, how
You
would
taking
you
the back
get-
streets home?
I do.
Just
Because
13th?
1 out of every 4 times I get on Kellogg, there's a wreck, and traffic's backed up, and you end up spending 20 minutes in your car waiting for, or you have to get off and get on the side streets and handle it that way.
Fair enough.
You go Kellogg?
I go Kellogg.
Don't you ever run into a traffic accident?
Yeah, and then I just get off.
Sometimes. Doesn't happen that often. Or do you 13th all the way?
Yes.
I don't mind that. It's a decent route.
13th is wonderful.
Better than 21st.
Well, yeah. Listen,
Especially if you don't live on 21st or near 21st.
here's a strange thing. I like driving around Wichita, even though I know Wichita.
That is strange.
But I just like. I went on campus today. My wife had a meeting there on Wichita State's campus, and I enjoyed that. I learned how to play snooker on that campus.
Snooker?
back in the day.
Oh,
Very
Good
little
game.
else.
That's a good game.
I don't know.
I learned very little else, but I did learn how to play snooker. Jeff has no idea what snooker is.
I sure don't.
Really?
Nope.
Are you serious?
I'm serious. I don't know what that is. I'm
It's
a
a-
sheltered human
It's a
being.
variation of pool, but it's played on a snooker table, and it's a fun game. I haven't played it since I was in college, but it's
I haven't played it since I've been out of Sexsmith. My grandpa had a
That's
table.
another reason to go back.
My grandpa had a table, and when he played, there was no 9-ball. It was all snooker. That was
Wow.
That's how it was.
Well, the pockets are smaller.
Yes.
So you got to be pretty adept.
There's more balls on the table.
Yes, there are a lot more balls.
A lot more.
But it's a bigger table. But, yeah,
Yes.
there's a lot more balls.
It's a good game. I enjoy
And
it.
I can't even remember how to play it, honestly.
Well, you got to make a red ball before you make a colored ball.
Right.
And then the colored balls are different points.
Okay.
There you go.
Duda remembers.
And they had a couple snooker tables in the CAC pool hall.
Oh, I
And
bet you wanted to get
I
after
mastered pool. So we.
It gets so thick.
I
in
didn't
here.
master any class, but I mastered pool and snooker. Not so much snooker. That's a hard game.
It is a tough game. It's way tougher.
Yes.
Are we all out of steam right now? Did we give everything we
What do
possibly
you mean?
had?
Don't you? Duda and I are engaged.
Yeah, but
You
he's
don't-
like,
you don't-
yeah,
well,
yeah, I
because-
guess red ball. And
No, you're just saying that because you don't know what we're talking
Yeah.
about.
Max,
No,
are you
I'm just-
enjoying this discussion? Of course he is.
Yeah. That's Max.
You know what, Max? You have my permission to punch Jeff.
You always want Jeff beat up by somebody.
Yeah, come do it yourself, man.
Oh, you
No.
should have been here when Paul
Yeah,
White
he
was
looking
here
at
then.
his-
It
don't
could
you
have been
remember
easy.
he was looking at his hand to see how long, and then he decided to hire the hit guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Paul White wanted to get after it too. So, but he only fights when he's paid. So that's good for him.
That's because he's,
Well, I'd have paid
he's
him.
OR.
Yes, he is.
I mean, what's wrong with talking about?
Nothing. I think this is kind of Friday at the end of the show conversation. You playing snooker?
Do you have something you want to
no,
bring up?
I said if we all run out of steam, I'm certain.
I haven't run out of steam. This
Oh,
is
you're
this is a
steamless.
discussion we'd have in the opening segment.
No,
Duda and I would.
no, it's not. It isn't. This isn't opening
Jason.
segment fodder.
Would
Well,
this
be
potentially
honest.
be an opening segment?
Be
What
honest.
wouldn't be an opening segment
Right.
on this show? Seriously, what wouldn't be an
This.
opening segment?
This.
This.
It's not good, and I'm saying that as someone who's an observer. You don't see me participating
Jeff.
in this.
Because you don't
I-
know nothing about it.
Jeff,
That's why I'm not.
That's why when you guys
why
talk
I'm an
wrestling,
observer.
I don't jump in.
But
because
it's not
there's no
bad,
point.
is it? It's entertaining. It's fun.
I don't establish what I think is good and bad based on your opinions
Why?
because I don't value or trust your opinions.
See, the truth always comes out on these shows. You don't value my opinion.
On certain things, I do. I don't value your opinion about what you think's entertaining on this radio show.
okay.
Because I've enjoyed talking
All
to
right,
Duda.
well, keep it up. You've got a
about-
few minutes
well, why don't
left.
you be quiet?
Okay.
Instead of, talking about snooker is not fun.
It's not.
I mean,
6 people know what you're talking about. Everybody else is like, oh, Bob, reliving his glory years again. And
do you know
Duda's-
what? You know what?
What?
If there's one man who could walk into this room right now and say, Bob, don't relive your glory years, and I'd listen to him.
Who's that?
Tony Ducey.
Really?
Not really, but I want to make him feel like he's important.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
If Tony came in and said, let's tone down the glory years talk a little bit, brother, I'd say, okay, I get you.
I just don't remember mine. Maybe that's why I don't
Well,
talk.
you never had glory years.
Oh, everyone had glory years in their own mind.
Well, what were yours?
I don't know. I mean, I played.
So not everybody did.
I played some decent baseball, but
Ah,
I'm
who
just
cares?
saying I don't remember
I'd
the
rather
ins and
talk about
outs.
snooker.
Well, then talk about snooker.
I think we've exhausted it.
Thank God.
Yeah, it's
You
done.
know, I don't know that the three-man in this configuration
Here
with
it's-
Jeff in the middle
No, it's not good.
will work.
Jeff
because
doesn't
he,
like the
he
middle.
feels like he's being attacked.
No, it's okay. I'm just going to come out swinging every time.
I love it. Come out swinging.
I do.
And it
3-0,
just makes it
you're
worse
swinging.
for you.
What?
It just makes it worse for
No,
you.
I love it.
Yeah, I do. I
Yeah,
think this is
because-
It's
fantastic.
easy for you. You have no original thoughts. You just go on with what he
Zero.
says, and it's
well, because I
lovely.
agree with a lot of things he says.
I see that.
That's been kind of the story of my life, especially as it pertains to this show.
Is that what you want, though?
I don't care if people agree, but I think there's a consensus built around the fact that my opinions are a little more valid than your opinion.
I think once there's a consensus, that's when you move on from that determination and start to think of something different.
By the way, never did hear back from the wonderful Dia Duda. And for that, I'm disappointed. But, hey, she does have a job.
She's
and
busy.
I will not give up the pursuit.
I'm pretty sure she's not going to be on today.
I will
Not
give
today.
I will not give up the pursuit
Well, good luck to you.
of Dia Duda for 5 questions.
Good luck.
It's
That's all
not
I
my
can say.
nature.
Oh, of course not. And you know what she'll say? As soon as you get to one of Jackson's games, I'll come on the show.
Okay, fair enough.
I mean, she might say that. I'm not talking
Maybe.
for her.
You-
I'm not talking for her.
So, is there consternation in your household that
'Kay.
after 5 years I have not been to a Jackson Duda soccer game?
Okay, explain that big word that you started the sentence with.
Are people
upset
disappointed?
in your household? that I have,
Yes. Jackson.
he'll
Very
be 35 before I go.
Probably.
If you give me, I've asked you about times, have I not?
You have.
You would agree with me that the times you're giving me are
They're
not
not good.
conducive. Again, another word.
That
Are
one,
not conducive to me going to a game.
that one I understand.
Okay.
I couldn't explain it to you, but I understand.
You've
the
heard it
word.
before.
Yes, thank you, Jeff.
So
Right.
if you were to say to me, hey, Jackson's got a game at 4 o'clock this Saturday afternoon, I'm there.
Okay, well,
Hey,
I'll-
Jackson's
I'll look
playing.
for one.
3:30 on Sunday. Can you come?
That's like the worst time of the day for
No,
me.
I'm there.
3:30 Sunday?
Yeah, I'm there. Wow. But when you tell me, oh, you got an game at 8:30 Friday night, 2 o'clock Monday afternoon, 7:30 in the morning Thursday, I no.
It's okay because I kind of feel the same way at some of those times. But I go because I like it.
Sure you do.
But if my kid wasn't playing, would I go?
Heavens no.
Probably not.
I would hope not.
There's a really good chance that that's not happening.
So a game tonight, 8:30.
8:30
You'll
tonight.
be there.
I'll be there.
A wonderful father.
Thanks.
Take care of yourselves, everyone. This is going to be a brutally cold weekend. We will be back here Monday. Have a good night.